Hello, anybody watching? My name is Dylan, and I like to build houses in The Sims 4. Today I am building 4353 Wisteria Lane from the TV show Desperate Housewives. This TV show was on ABC from 2004 to 2012, so it ended about eight years ago, actually. And if it started in 2004, then it started 16 years ago. So it's quite old. It's not very relevant anymore. However, these houses that are in this TV show are very, very popular when it comes to The Sims, the entire Sims series. I mean, people have been building the houses that are in that show for the longest time, myself included, actually. So this house is Susan Delfino's house. Susan Meyer, actually, is when her name is when the show starts. She lives in this house. Her character Susan, she's a little bit of a klutz. She's a little bit of a hopeless romantic, and she lives in this kind of colonial, kind of barn style, American suburban home, and I love this home actually a lot. I started building houses a very long time ago in 2004. I didn't really get into it as much until Sims 3 came around, and I finally learned how to, build this house based on pictures and stuff and on some floor plans and stuff that you can find. Around 2013, I first built this house, and since then, I've built this house probably about I want to say about 20 times. Every couple of months, I end up rebuilding this house, be it in Sims 4 or Sims 3. And it's just a house that I love. This house for me, 4353, is my dream house. So I'm always rebuilding this house and always kind of going back to it and looking at the pictures, even though I don't necessarily like all of the interior furnishings that are shown in the TV show. But as far as the shape and the exterior and the interior floor plan, or at least what's kind of vaguely suggested, for me, if I could design my own house, it would probably be this one. You can actually find pictures of this house online. If you look at 4353 Wisteria Lane, you can find a whole bunch. In fact, you can also find pictures of of this house from Sims 3 and from Sims 4. And if you actually look it up, look up 4353 Wisteria Lane Sims, either Sims 3 or Sims 4, you will find my houses. It's like one of the first things that pops up, which is kind of nice. I think that's kind of interesting. My houses from when I uploaded them to Mod the Sims on the Sims resource as well. But with that also means that one of my older houses, one of my kind of first drafts of this house, before I really figured out how to build in Sims 4, because there was kind of a jump from Sims 3 to Sims 4, I built this house, and it doesn't look very good. It's not my best work. But at the time, I thought it looked great. When you first do something new, you're like, this is great. I can't believe that, I created this. And then I look at it now, and I'm like, everything about this is wrong. Like, the roof is wrong, the exterior things are wrong. I remember I used in my first version of this house for Sims 4, I used a wood floor color combination that I would never use ever again. And in fact, that's probably the only time I've ever actually used it, is in this house back in 2015, end of 2015, and it just looks awful. And I'm frustrated that nobody went ahead and said, hey, Dylan, don't upload this. It looks terrible. In fact, I think I even forgot to put in ceiling lights in that house. I think I used mostly wall lights. In fact, no, I did put in some ceiling lights in this house back in 2015, and I used the really weird, they kind of look like a grandma sconce. It just looks awful, and it puts off this weird yellow color that I just don't like. And then I don't think we had the sconces that you can make smaller and it lights the room up a little bit better. A lot of people use that, but I don't think we had that before. And so this house just looked terrible. So anyway, I digress. I really just like building this house a lot. I really like the Desperate Housewives, Wisteria Lane lore. I'm really big into that, actually. This is Probably my favorite show, to be honest, is Desperate Housewives. Maybe part of it is because I love the architecture in the show, but I also really like the characters. I mean, I know it's a show about middle-aged women, but it's for me it's like my favorite show. It was a show that me and my mom watched together. My best friend watched it. Me and my best friend Monica still have jokes about this show. Um, every couple of months we'll be like, "Hey, spoiler," and then we'll say things that would spoil it. And it's funny to us. It's not funny to anybody else because why would it be? But it's not our fault that you guys don't have a sense of humor. So. Anyway, just about this house here, I realized, when I went to go build this house, I built the first day's worth of footage, and then I went to go back in, and the footage for the second day all got corrupted. So the video part of this video, I guess, kind of ends unceremoniously. It just I'm kind of working on the kitchen at a later point, and it just plop and then all of a sudden it's done. And that was not on purpose. It was because my other hour or so of footage did not work. And I didn't feel like doing everything over again. So this house ends up not having all the footage that I used to make it, but I did include a lot of screenshots of it, including an overhead view of both of the floors, so you can see just how much work I did put into it. But the footage kind of ends, like I said, kind of sadly. But here I am in this house. If you look at screenshots of this house, you can find a lot of screenshots of the first floor, and there's a lot of these what's the word, like display shelves are in the whole house. This house is very, for lack of a better term, it's very feminine. It's very girly, and that makes sense because the character Susan Meyer is very girly, very hopeless romantic, very feminine. So this house actually matches her pretty well. And I really like the way that this house turned out. This is the first time I've actually done this specific floor plan for the house. Usually every time I build this house, it ends up having three bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms. But with this house, this new version of this house, there is 4 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms. I was able to add a bedroom onto the first floor, which gets used as a nursery for Susan's granddaughter that gets born like literally in the last episode of the show, which doesn't even make sense that she made this nursery because she ended up moving out anyway in the last episode. Spoiler, the show's been over for 10 years, so if you haven't seen it yet, then that's on you. But so there's this room that's off the dining room, and they never show this room. It's not even suggested that there is a room there until like that episode. So it never doesn't really make sense. And so when I made this house all the times before, I decided, that it was just a weird addition for one episode that they didn't even, they didn't even end up using it because, they ended up moving out anyway at the end of the show. So I never put that room in just because I thought it was dumb. But in this version of the house, I did decide to put it in. And it worked out. It made the back of the house look a little bit, not necessarily strange, but it's not my favorite back of a house. It looks a little weird, but I was able to get that bedroom into the first floor there, which is kind of nice. And then there is a full bathroom on that first floor too, which I always think is a really nice touch. So here I am just doing the bathrooms. One thing I do with my Sims bathrooms is I do like to make them base game only. I actually don't have all of the packs by a long shot for Sims 4. But I do have some of them. But when I do bathrooms, and usually when I do landscaping as well, I do my very best to keep those rooms base game only, just so everybody can download this house, and they can at least have some rooms that are base game only. Not every room in this house is base game only. However, the only packs that I did use are the base game, seasons, and get together. Those are my favorite packs. So I did use those quite a bit, especially on the exterior. Maybe not quite as much as the interior. I would say the interior is probably 70% base game. But there are quite a few items as well that are from seasons. Seasons more so than get together, except on the exterior I used that white column for trim like I tend to do anyway all the time. But so keep that in mind if you do decide to download this, and you can find it on the gallery. Just same username as here on YouTube, Carl Dillinson. You can also find an older version, actually a couple older versions of this house on Mob The Sims. If you decide to go there, it is free. And I don't use any CC when I make these houses. I don't use any custom content, just EA content. So you can keep that in mind too. You can find a couple older versions of this house. They don't look quite as good as this one, I don't think, but they still work. They're pretty much the same. But like I said, the floor plan for this house, I love the floor plan for this house, just in general too, because it's a little bit different than what you would expect. You have to go through the living room to get to the dining room, and a lot of times you don't see that. I feel like a lot of times, a dining room is a completely separate room, which makes sense. But I just like that there's so much space in this house that you have to use pretty much to get to each room. I can definitely appreciate that. That's always something that I like a lot. On the second floor, there is a master bedroom, and it has an attached bathroom as well. Like I said, I think you can find maybe a floor plan of this house, but I did a couple extra things just to make the house a little bit more functional. So you can kind of see on the first floor there, I added that bathroom right next to the entry door. In the TV show, that bathroom is actually not there, but I added it there because I wanted to have an extra bathroom. If I were to go ahead and just make the house look exactly like it does in the pictures, then this house would probably have, 2 huge bedrooms and 1 bathroom, and it wouldn't be super functional anyway. So when I do houses that are based on things, like on a TV show, I do decide to do things a little bit differently, but I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal. I do think the exterior of this house, you can see it right there, is fabulous, to be honest. I know it's my own house, but I'm like, that looks really good. I really like how it turned out. Maybe I'm a little bit narcissistic, but I'm like, when I see other versions of this house on the gallery, and there are a lot of them, my house is the best. Like the exterior of it, at least. People do very great interiors, much better than I do. But I am gonna toot my own horn and say my 4353 Wisteria Lane exterior looks the best. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not even sorry. Like, it just does. It's my own feeling. I really feel like it does, and I hope you think so too. So I'm going to cut off here, but like I said, if you want to download this house, you can certainly find it on the gallery. Same username as here on YouTube. There's a couple more screenshots if you feel like going through them. Feel free to follow me on the gallery as well if you are interested, and let me know in a comment what you would like to see next from me, if anything at all. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.